Y'all, let's get back reacting to the comments, man, where we go and we talk to all these great people who have something to say about what we talked about in the previous weeks and absolutely have their insight because there's a lot of information that even I don't always fully know and understand when it comes to rugby. So all right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our first set of comments. Um, all right, so starting off, man, let's take a look at from G Duncan 8012. He responding to the me really rooting on for Scotland and being like, yo, Scotland might be one of my favorite teams. G Duncan goes, get ready. Hope that then disappointment is the nature of being Scottish in life and rugby. Follow Scotland and you won't be bored. You'll be frustrated, but you won't be bored. Absolutely love it. Like I said, I told him I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. I understand frustration is a faction of life. Um, my guy Joe Ritchie 2 said, I don't have a Netflix subscription, but I'd like to see this doc. So I might need to look into subscribing. Like you, I usually look more forward to Southern Hemisphere competitions like Super Rugby and the Rugby Championships. But I've watched all of the Six Nations the last 5 or 6 years. It's a great tournament. A couple of years ago, 2019, the England-Scotland Calcutta Cup match was amazing. A 38-38 draw that if you can find a replay on YouTube, you should absolutely watch a whole match. I hadn't gotten a chance still to do that, but I am going to absolutely take a look at that. But again, I think there's been upticks definitely since the pandemic whenever everybody was in desperation. But I think there's been a build up. Like I said, my frustration that came with it was it felt like such an aged version of rugby. So I think the last time I saw even anything really significant with the Six Nations, this was maybe 2017 or so. So look, first impressions can make a very big difference. But like I said, you provide me some more information, and I am more than willing to be able to add into it. And like I said, I'm excited to see what this next Six Nations is going to be like. Also, Joe was saying that nice of you to want Italy to win something, but after their abysmal World Cup performance, the calls for relegation, promotion in Europe with nations like Georgia, Portugal, and Spain getting a shot at Six Nation participation. I will say I can't disagree with that sentiment. Like Italy got so mollywopped in the got so mollywopped during the Rugby World Cup. Like it didn't feel like they were there. Like the only teams that really just were worse was like Romania. I mean, Italy beat some scrub team, but I think it was like Romania or Portugal. Like that doesn't count. And I feel like Italy is one of those teams that are incredibly frustrating because they are like almost the worst version of a tier one team. They are better than their next competition, in my opinion. Like I think they're genuinely better than Georgia, Spain, and Portugal, even with the rise that those three teams have done. But they are so far worse than obviously Wales and Wales and Ireland and England and France and Ireland. So it's so confusing because I've watched Italy play and they kill it. Shout out to Sebastian Negri, who has a great story and was a great story about trying to get your confidence back after trauma and dealing with the losses that were happening during Six Nations and almost dying on the field as well. But like, yeah, it's hard, man. Italy is a tough one to be able to follow up with. Next up, we got my guy Jason Bray Ultra Sports going, yo, I heard about a great documentary series about two guys who rode from Singapore to Tokyo for the 2019 Rugby World Cup. I heard that was the best rugby docu-series ever made. Sir, I fully agree with you. It's almost like I like to put a few ads in here about it. And if you guys didn't know, there's a few ads about it. I think you guys should all check it out. If you want to check out the first two episodes, we definitely have it on YouTube, absolutely free on the website. I'm probably going to put the whole thing at some point. But like for me, I think it was a great introduction into not only the Rugby World Cup for some, but also to another walk of life in rugby and another aspect of it, that's my humble opinion. I definitely think it's worth the investment, and always supporting the show as well with that. YT World Traveler hit me with a couple in response to the Six Nations Full Cup, so I'm going to get them all in a row. They said Six Nations is a big deal, man. French rugby rocks. Welsh coal miners created rugby. I will miss Johnny Sexton. There was a lot of complaints that I've heard that have been about Six Nations Full Contact. They didn't feel like either it wasn't technical enough, which I think is honestly one of the stupidest arguments. Like that documentary would never need to be a technical doc. Like this is a top funnel thing. This is to bring in casuals and new spectators and feed them in. Like I remember one person on X was like, "Yo, I wish they would teamed up with Squidge Rugby and stuff." I was like, "No, Squidge Rugby's got his thing. Like World Rugby and Six Nations should team up, but it wasn't going to be for a doc like that. That would have been for an own separate thing on their own channel, doing their own kind of stuff, but really working to be able to inform people. But that's a next level of educating and understanding. But the documentary is to insert a person like me, have a reason to insert you in where you don't care about the teams, but you care about the people and you want the people to do well. To the point that I was making, one of the things that people felt was really missed was talking about the history of Wales and the coal miners and why that rugby is the way it is, and why it is so important that they are functional because of the fact that they are blue collar to the end. And that thing has been such a backbone to Welsh culture for century, So great responses into that. Rit the Rugger, who is absolutely dope ass dude. Rit the Rugger 160 goes in response to Owen Farrell heading to Rossing 92. He goes, now that Owen's plot armor being England's captain against red cards is gone, let's see if he makes legal tackles for a change. Look, Owen Farrell, man, that man is an artist on the field. Clearly, everybody's got some little beef with him. It might be part of the reason why he's stepping away for his own mental health reasons. I just want to break as well. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure if Ross 92 kills it, Owen Farrell, and he kills it at there, Owen Farrell probably will continue to rise up and just keep dominating. Rit the Rugger also continues to say, I've always had an interest in the 5 Six Nations. Previously, it was the 5 Nations before Italy joined in. Late 70s, mid 80s, my club had an two Irishman, 2 English, and a Scot in our lineup. Hearing them banter about the 5 Nations perked my interest. I'm not saying that I was watching the matches. This was the age of the rotary phone, after all. Didn't get to see much rugby at all. 1 or 2 international matches a year from both hemispheres. Finally, the 2000s, I was able to get satellite rugby. I became a Wales fan. The tiny nation standing up to all the bullies was great to watch. Shane Williams, Hook, and the 3 Jones boys in the pack were a joy to watch. I think it was 3 Grand Slams in 5 years. Incredible. I am a Wales fan. And that's the kind of passion that you want to be able to have across board. In my opinion, when it comes to being able to introduce people in, you need to have that. For him, it was people talking about it in a way where they got to create a personalized affect in some way, shape, or form. I hope that all the leagues, for the Olympics, they do a documentary. For the rugby championships, they do a documentary. For the Rugby World Cup women's next year, they do a documentary either before or after. No, definitely after. Definitely after. If not even during, do a Hard Knocks kind of style where we see it live, whether with Amazon Prime or see what you can deal with Netflix. That means we got to go watch it. So Netflix is like, this is worthy of the investment, and not just cancel it off rip because people feel some type of way. Let these things evolve. But again, it is a process of getting people in, and so however it is you get in, man, we need to encourage it. Rit also commented on USA and World Rugby MLR team, the anthem Carolina Rugby being announced. Rit goes, at the least, they need to let it be known who the players are that are eligible to become Eagles. every time you see a roster or a list of players picked up from past clubs, they need to have an eagle or a flag beside their name so people know who they should be interested in. Let it be known that although that Kiwi player looks sexy, he's not going to be representing the U.S. in the future, so your interest should be somewhere else on the pitch. I don't think that's wrong. I think that is a fantastic idea. Again, the point you need to do is to create stars and create personification so that people can be like, you are me and I am you. You want to be able to get to that next level. You want to be able to see what the next person, who the person you aspire to or inspired by or hate, or that is the rotation. I aspire to be them. I'm inspired by them, or I hate them. Like, that's what you want from sports, obviously in a healthy way that's not absolutely destructive to people's mental and personal health. But, you want to be able to get the most out of people like that. So I would love that idea. In terms of the anthem, we'll see. The player roster, I think, has come out. There's been some trades made, so you guys can take a look at that. I think it's on the Anthem's website and to go through. And then last was in response to the interview. Please absolutely go check out our interview with Adi Cooney and Ty Lewis of the Pacific Coast Rugby League. We had a great conversation about rugby league, and we know that rugby union, rugby league have a fierce rivalry with each other, fair and unfair. But talking with them, it gave me a lot more sympathy and better feeling of the need for the cohesion between the two sports, how they can really intertwine and work together. Of course, a rivalry is nice, but again, there's so many other sports that are trying to get in our pathway. Why waste it on our, bastard cousins that literally just wanted to get paid when they were in their inception? Like, especially as Americans and the, anti-elitist attempts, like, rugby league is not something that we should be so swayed. But again, I'm not taking away from union. Like, I'm a union guy first and foremost, but it was good. But Jason Bray, Ultra Sports, was just like, let's go Broncos. Big rugby league fan because he's an Australian, and Australians love their absolute rugby league.
I ain't convinced. Round in the city, black out the tents. Gassed up, they gon' let me, fill up the tank.